The presentation of today's racing program is a copyrighted broadcast of the New York Racing Association, Incorporated. Any rebroadcast, recreation, or retransmission of this broadcast without the expressed written consent of the New York Racing Association, Incorporated is strictly prohibited.
Ladies and gentlemen, to honor America, please stand for our national anthem. And they're off. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Saratoga Racecourse on an absolutely beautiful first Friday in September. Sunny skies, the temperature in the 70s. The main track is fast. We are on the turf today. The turf courses are good, with the portable rail up at 18 feet on the melon and at 9 feet on the inner. And we have a jackpot carryover in the Empire 6 of more than $344,000. Today is New York Showcase Day, and we highlight New York breds in all 12 races. In today's first race, there are no changes. In the second race, note that number 6, Bohemian Ruby, will run with cheek pieces on. Number 8, Judge and Jury, 1 pound over. And note that number 9, Production Credit, is a Ridgeling. In today's third race, the Albany, scratch number 1, Microsecond, scratch the 1. In the fourth race, scratch 8, Action Jackson, 12, I'm Blaming You, and 13, Mambonic. Scratch 8, 12, and 13. Note that number 9, Pivotal Run, is 1 pound over. Race 5 is the Yaddo, and please note we do have an additional pick 4 today, and that additional pick 4 will begin in race number 5. In the fifth, scratch 2, 55, and 7, Espresso Shot. Scratch 2 and 7 out of race 5. There are no changes in the sixth. Race 7 will begin the Empire 6. It's the Funny Side Stakes, and scratch number 6, Windy Nations. Scratch the 6. In the eighth race, Scratch number 11. Let me have it. Scratch the 11. In the 9th race, we have these scratches. Scratch 1A, Ziller. 2, Oh My Papa. 2B, Big Thicket. Also scratch 9, Luna's in Charge. And 10, Awesome Ammo. Scratch 1A, 2, 2B, 9, and 10 from race 9. The 10th race, the Fleet Indian, no changes. The 11th race, the West Point, no changes. And in today's 12th and final race, scratch 3, Inspector Henning. 11, Hey Lad. 12, Ladies Boy. And 13, Imperio D. In the 12th, scratch 3, 11, 12, and 13. Main track is fast, the turf courses are good, and we have that Empire 6 jackpot carryover of $344,044. We'll come back at noon to reprise the changes. Today's first race post will be at 12:20. Up next, it's the final Friday of the 2020 meet, the Talking Horses version with Andy Serling and Anthony Stabile.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Talking Horses on a glorious Friday here, Friday, September 4th at Saratoga.
Happy Kentucky Oaks Day. It's also New York Bred Showcase Day here at Saratoga. We're bringing you all of that action today on Saratoga Live. Our program, as always, brought to you by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. Former champion jockey Richard Migliori, Acacia Courtney alongside, and we are so happy to be bringing you the most exciting racing across the country today. Richie, New York Breds in the spotlight here at Saratoga, but of course we're looking forward to some exciting action with the fillies center stage in Kentucky today.
A terrific day of racing on tap in both upstate New York and Louisville, Kentucky. Beautiful day. It's incredible. And I think the Oaks is a throwback kind of race. Matchups are interesting. Gamine with her brilliant speed, Swiss Skydiver. She has speed, but you know she has stamina. And a throwback kind of mare, Acacia. 7 starts this year at 7 different tracks. She takes her show on the road and brings it every time.
Trainer Ken McPeak saying she's just so durable. She dives right into the feed tub. She won our Alabama here at Saratoga, and we got a chance to see Gamine here in Saratoga as well in the test. So looking forward to seeing those two knock heads this afternoon. But the opener at Churchill Downs forthcoming. Race 1, we're fast and good at Churchill. We have a maiden special weight to kick things off. Scratch the 1A Movie Moxie, your current favorite, the number 2 Glamour Girl, turning back in distance for Larry Jones.
Yeah, and you know, you always like to start a day with a good field of maidens. I thought this was a pretty deep race. A couple of first-time starters I thought were interesting as well.
Including the number 5 Financial One, who's the have to close hatches. What a mare she was. Of course, 2014 Eclipse older mare, the Dame of Tacitus. Here's her little sister debuting.
Yeah, and you think about closed hatches. She broke her maiden on debut. Came right back. So, you know, there's precocity there. Chad Brown has this one for Juddmonte Farm. Who is taking money?
Your current favorite now at 2-1. His favoritism switched over a little bit. And, yeah, talking about a nice field in here. The number 1 Sovereign Appeal taking a bit of attention, switching back to the main track for Brian Lynch. There is turf pedigree there, but the turf did not seem to be a successful experiment last out.
No, and she ran so well on the dirt. You know, they tried something different, stretched her out. I like her turning back in distance. And, you know, it's interesting. All horses like grass. Just some of them don't like to run on it. They like to eat it.
That seemed to be the case with this one for sure. Some big pedigrees in here, too. We talked about the 5. The number 9, Whispering Pines to the outside, half to a stakes winner named Where Paradise Lay. A good dirt sprinter, also trained by Stanley Huff, who has this filly.
And Stanley Huff is so good at preparing first-time starters. His horses are very professional. Over the years, I can remember him unveiling so many horses that would win at first asking. And this is out of a mare that was a multiple stakes winner herself and possessed speed. Not a little bit cold on the board, I think, but maybe just all the attention to Close Hatch's sister here.
I'm actually surprised Financial One, Close Hatch's little sister, is not even shorter than 2-1. Are you a little bit surprised by that?
Yeah, I am. You know, you think Chad Brown, that pedigree, maybe it's not as live as we think on the board, at least.
Sure. Something to look for as well as they start to load in. Everybody looking to get off to a good start on Kentucky Oaks Day beneath the Twin Spires. Off the turf the last couple days at Churchill, on the grass today. Fast and good. Looks like a beautiful sunny day there in Louisville, Kentucky as we get ready for this maiden special weight for the fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upwards, 7 furlongs on the main track. Travis Stone, the voice of Churchill Downs, waiting in the wings for the call. A couple more left to go, including the number 8, Chewy Good. That's a good name, I'll say. One more to go. Here's Travis Stone with the opener at Churchill.
They're in the gate. And they're off. Sensation with a good start. April in Paris is also there. Power of Magic is showing speed toward the outside as they race up the chute and head for the main track, and it is April in Paris on the inside, Sensation on the outside to go head-to-head early on. Power of Magic comes away third while in the clear. Financial One is down inside fourth. Sovereign Appeal advancing up from fifth. Chewy Good comes away sixth and in the clear. A break of a length back to Norma Jean B, who's now seventh, followed by Glamour Girl in eighth. Whispering Pines, the last of them all. Down the backstretch they go, and April in Paris with 4 furlongs left leads the way onto the far turn. Saint Sation is right there, though, in second through an opening quarter in 23 seconds flat. So round the far turn, April in Paris, half-length lead, 3 furlongs out. Saint Sation is right there and getting closer now. Saint Sation cranks up the pressure, and Chewy Good comes alive with a 3-wide bid. Financial One's in behind, racing in fourth. Norma Jean B is now fifth. They're off the turn. Saint Sation has taken over. April in Paris is back into second. Chewy Good boxing on from third. Financial One is fourth. There's 1 furlong to go, and Saint Sation kicks away by 2. Chewy Good trying hard, still second. April in Paris, Financial One, Glamour Girl outside, coming to the wire, and Saint Sation. Upset winner in the opener by 2.5. Financial One got up for second. Chewy Good was third. April in Paris or Glamour Girl for fourth.
An upset in the opener. Start number 8 proved to be the winning one for the number 4 Saint Sation. Brian Hernandez back in the saddle after a scary testing positive for COVID-19, and another winner here today.
Yeah, and she had speed, created her own trip, ran extremely well, had a lot of foundation, this being her 8th start, 7/8's a demanding distance. The 5-horse Financial One learned a lot in her on debut. She broke slow, flat-footed. Javier Castellano had to kind of rush her up into the pocket, and you could see she was resenting the kickback, kind of running with the emergency brake on, and when she finally was able to get out in the clear mid-stretch, she finished resolutely. She's a filly to keep an eye on going forward.
One to watch, certainly, as 7 furlongs, that demanding distance. She's got a race now that she can build upon. Coming up a little bit later on, the 3-year-old fillies will be in the center stage in the Grade 1 Kentucky Oaks, that matchup that we've been looking forward to between Swiss Skydiver and Gamine. But it's a nice field. There are some incredibly talented fillies in here, Richie, including Donna Veloce, Speech, some horses that have done some nice things.
This is a really good group, and you know, it's interesting, Donna Veloce, and this just speaks to how deep in talent this race is. Donna Veloci's been favored in every one of her starts, including the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies last year. And she's 15-1 more in the line. She'll probably go off at least 10-1. That's the testimony to how talented Gamine and Swiss Skydiver are.
What a big race she ran behind British Idiom in that Breeders' Cup. But we're looking at Gamine, a horse we've gotten to see a couple of times here in New York. She's coming out of a daylight score here at Saratoga in the Grade 1 test. She's stretching out in distance today.
You know, the thing that's impressive about her is that she possesses so much speed, but she does it so easily. It doesn't look like she's ever digging in, and all she's doing is putting distance between her and the other horses. Like you said, stretching from 7 furlongs to the 1 1/8. Swiss Skydiver turning back from 1 1/4 to a 1 1/8. The clash, they're going to collide in the middle.
What are you seeing from her training there on the track?
You know, one thing that always impresses me is just how she floats. For a big horse, she doesn't seem to hit the ground heavy. You get a horse that's got that kind of size to them, and they hit the ground so light. That's why she's so talented.
That was her this morning at Churchill Downs. She cost $1.8 million. So far, it looks like it's been a good investment. And if we look at her main rival, Swiss Skydiver, she buried them in the Alabama.
She really did. She doesn't need the lead, but she possesses speed, so she creates her own trip, too. It's going to be up to Tyler Gaffleone to decide when it's time to try to put pressure on Gamine, who I'm sure will be on the lead with her brilliant speed. What's impressive about her, Acacia, she just thrives on the work. It looks like she carries good weight and just continues to bring it every time.
Owner Peter Callahan joking he seems to get a good one every 10 years or so, and he says that this has been the most fun ride with Swiss Skydiver. You're Tyler Gaffleone. You've got the inside post. 9 horses in here. It's not such a big field as the Derby. What do you do? How important is the break?
Well, the breaks are critical in any race. I don't care what distance. You don't want to give away anything at the break. You want to go forward. Also, you know the horse to beat is Gamine. You've got to come out running and make Johnny Velasquez at least open his hands and let her do enough, clear off. You don't want to let him just gallop to the lead and assume that, you know, he's going to go quick. You've got to come out running.
Swiss Skydiver, how durable she has been. Very impressive, coming off of a daylight score in the Alabama as we bring in third member of our team, Maggie Wolfendale, here at Saratoga. Maggie, this matchup between these two fillies, it really is... if you're a fan of horse racing, this is a dream matchup to have these two knocking heads in the Kentucky Oaks, isn't it?
I mean, Acacia, if anything, this is more of an exciting race than the Kentucky Derby. That's right, I said it, between these two 3-year-old fillies. And as we look at them kind of by the numbers, tail of the tape here, you look at, well, Swiss Skydiver, she has won 5 of 9. She's won nearly $1 million in purse earnings, while Gamine's only earned a third of that with a little over $350,000. She's 3 for 4 lifetime, being disqualified from the purse money in that Oaklawn race. And that was her only race around 2 turns. But I think the reason that we'll likely see Gamine favored over Swiss Skydiver is people prefer brilliancy over the consistency and durability that we've seen from Swiss Skydiver, where Gamine has posted a 110 buyer, 2 triple-digit buyer speed figures back-to-back, including an 18-plus length romp going back to that Grade 1 Acorn. Now, as you guys were talking about, I think it is up to Tyler Gaffleone, who rode her Swiss Skydiver in the Alabama and showed that she's very comfortable rating. She doesn't need the lead, but she's got to make Gamine run to that first turn and hope that, well, Gamine, maybe she's not quite as good around the 2 turns. As we've seen her in her running, she does have the propensity to want to bear out a bit, and I don't think she runs as comfortably on that outside, on that inside lead as she does her outside lead. So I think Swiss Skydiver, guys, although she is coming in only off of a 20-day rest here, possibly possesses a little bit more of a talent level at the 2-turn mile and an eighth. But what a matchup that we see. And as you guys said, it goes beyond them too, with Grade 1 winner Speech, as well as Donna Veloce in there as well.
Maggie, thank you. Love the dress. Well dressed for Oaks Day, too. Cannot wait to see those fillies knocking heads later today. But here at Saratoga, look at the lineup we have here for New York Showcase Day. 6 stakes on the card today, Richie. Highlighted, of course, Dot Matrix coming out of Graded Stakes Company. It's all about the New York breds.
No, I love this day, and you see the pride the New York Thoroughbred breeders take in their horses. And the first race is the Seeking the Ante for 2-year-old fillies. Well, I rode Seeking the Ante. I rode her brother, Friends Lake, who won the Florida Derby. I also rode their mother, Ante Spend, who was a stakes performer, a Grade 1 winner on turf and dirt. So a lot of history there. Chester and Mary Broman, prolific breeders in the state of New York.
Breeders of a horse that cost $2 million in Chestertown, who we'll see a little bit later in the Albany as well. Looking forward to all of those New York breds, and we want to remind you that Naira Bets has a limited time offer up to the Kentucky Derby. So your time's running out. Kentucky Derby is tomorrow. New members get a $25 free play right after sign up. Plus, you can take advantage of up to a $200 deposit match after your first deposit with promo code Derby25. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime, and join now at NairaBets.com to get your account ready for the Kentucky Derby September 5th with promo code Derby25. We'll take a look at today's races. As always, today's races are presented by Claiborne Farm. We have races 1 through 12 here at Saratoga. Fast and good. We're back on the turf, which is great news. Seeking the Ante, the Albany, the Yaddo, 6 stakes for the New York breds. At Churchill Downs, back on the turf as well. Fast and good there. Races 2 through 7, you saw the opener already, and then we'll bring you the finale, race 13, the Twin Spires Turf Sprint for those races in between. You can, of course, head it to NBC. We're looking now at race 1 at Churchill Downs. We just saw a bit of an upset there. Horse making start number 8, 3-year-old filly by Competitive Edge. It was Sensation.
Sensation, good speed from the start, put herself in the game, and had a lot left. Actually finished with good energy. I think she beat a good filly in Financial One, who's going to improve off of this effort.
A learning experience for the Chad Brown first-time starter, Financial One, who does check in second. Sensation, though, Brian Hernandez at 15-1. $28.60 winner. Congratulations to Chow and Naveed, the owner, and McMahon of Saratoga Thoroughbreds, co-breeders of this New York bred.
Interesting. We're talking about New York breds here in Saratoga. Well, New York bred kicks it off. Maybe that's an omen for 'Tis the Law.
That's a good sign. We've got a New York bred coming up in the Kentucky Derby tomorrow. Race 2 at Churchill Downs is the 2-year-old fillies. All about the girls today at Churchill as well. 2-year-old fillies going 6 furlongs on the main track. Quite a few nice pedigrees in there. Looking forward to seeing all of those, including the number 3 Sayonara, your current favorite for Steve Asmussen. Coming up, we'll be looking ahead to Kentucky Derby 146. There he is, the New York-bred son of Constitution, 'tis the law, schooling yesterday at Churchill Downs.
Deep in the heart of horse country, from these Kentucky hills has sprung a legacy rivaled by few. From the all-time greats of yesterday to the breed-shaping bloodlines of today, our roots hold strong with the promise of tomorrow. For over a century, our passion has guided us to where we stand and everything we stand for. Claiborne Farm, the tradition continues.
Up-and-coming talented 2-year-old colts do battle on closing day at Saratoga. Reinvestment Risk couldn't have been more impressive in his debut. Despite being geared down late, he won by nearly 8 lengths.
Reinvestment Risk, pouring it on here in deep stretch.
Jackie's Warrior looks to improve to a perfect 3 for 3.
The 115th Saratoga Special goes to Jackie's Warrior.
Watch the 116th running of the Run Happy Hopeful on Saratoga Live Monday.
He's very athletic, very balanced. He's got all the right parts in all the right places. He's a very good mover on the end of the shank, and he's a great mover out in the field, so he's got all the parts. So when you pull him out of the stall, it's a wow.
This is a colt by Run Happy out of the AP Indy Mare Orate. He's got a lot of size, a lot of scope, beautifully balanced, and looks like a classic distance horse, much like we've seen with a lot of the Run Happies.
Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Back on Saratoga Live. So glad to have you with us on this Kentucky Oaks Day. Our program brought to you by champion sprinter Run Happy, who raced medication free and stands for $25,000 in legendary Stall 1 at Claiborne Farm. I love this shot of him, Richie. I love this video. It never gets old, just seeing him with his ears up. He looks like he's just ready to roll. He's like, let me run.
He enjoys running, and he runs around that paddock. I was there. I saw it firsthand. He's a horse that is well named. He ran happy, but he lives happy.
Living up to his name for sure. Now coming up a little bit later in the Kentucky Derby, the star 3-year-olds taking center stage. We did have some news yesterday. King Guillermo spiking a fever, unfortunately, out of the Kentucky Derby will point to the Preakness Stakes, according to trainer Juan Carlos Avila. And this morning, Finnick the Fierce, the one-eyed horse, also out of the Kentucky Derby.
So down to a field of 16, still a large field, but by our Kentucky Derby standards, kind of a small field.
Well, speaking of Run Happy, the Run Happy Travers saw a dominant performance, the dominant performance that I think some were waiting for from 'Tis the Laws. It seemed leading into this, Richie, that we'd never reach the bottom for him.
Yeah, but I think that's a good thing. You don't want them to have to go deep into the well every time they run. You want them to save something. And he won with something left here. He always appeared to me to be a horse doing just exactly what was asked of him, that there was always more there, and I still think there's more there.
I loved speaking to Barkley Tagg afterwards as we look at him on the track this morning at Churchill Downs. Barkley said, He's a feisty little guy, but he said he's never been concerned about distance for him. The question always leading into the Kentucky Derby at 1.25 miles seems to be, who can handle the distance? Well, now we know without a doubt that Tislaw can.
Yeah, he's already done the 1.25 miles. I was speaking with Robin Smullen, assistant to Barclay Tagg, yesterday, and she was saying they could 2-minute lick him 2 miles. Basically a 15-second to the 8th clip. He never takes a long breath. She says it's remarkable how much air he's able to get. And, you know, they had Funnyside, who was a horse that got a lot of air, very hard, difficult horse to pull up, wanted to keep going. For them to say that this horse actually even gets more air than him, big testimony. Absolutely is. Funnyside, another New York bred. He won the 2003 Kentucky Derby for Barclay Tagg, and he's coming back for another with Tis the Law tomorrow afternoon. Here's a look at Churchill Downs. Horses in the paddock for race 2, the 2-year-old fillies. That's what's coming up next. We'll talk a lot about that and hear from our Tom Amos at Churchill Downs after this quick timeout.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
Golden Sense was Intimicious' best son at the racetrack. I think Golden Sense has a real chance to produce a classic distance horse. They've got a ton of heart. They're very competitive. They've got athleticism. They've got speed. The Golden Sense just have that it factor. They look like the good Intimicious.
Everybody else chasing Mr. Money.
By my standards, has won the New Orleans Classic.
I think he's got a big future.
Sports look different this year, like Derby in the summer. While you're celebrating the fastest 2 minutes in sports at home, Twin Spires is your ticket to the Kentucky Derby. Bet on the Derby and do it all from your mobile device. Use code GET200 to start earning your $200 new player bonus when you join Twin Spires today. The fun, fast, and easy way to bet on the Kentucky Derby. Twin Spires, the official wagering partner of the Kentucky Derby. Download the app today.
Whether you like it hearty, hot and spicy, smooth and creamy, or loaded with veggie flavor, the Petaluma Creamery offers the highest quality 100% organic, non-GMO cheese money can buy. Made with the utmost respect for our happy cows and the land they roam free. Visit SpringHillCheese.com and shop our extensive line of delicious cheeses and dairy products. Pick your favorites and we'll ship them right to your front door. Petaluma Creamery, the best dairy products come from the happiest cows.
You're watching Saratoga Live, brought to you by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. We're getting ready for race 2 at Churchill Downs. That's the 2-year-old fillies, and pleased to welcome in our colleague Tom Amos, who has his Serengeti Empress getting ready to look for another Grade 1 tomorrow in the Derby City Distaff. Welcome in Tom at Churchill. Tom, how are things looking over there on Kentucky Oaks Day?
Well, first of all, happy Derby weekend to everybody out there, especially you, Acacia. Here we are at Churchill Downs, and unlike a lot of Derby weekends we've had in the past, now we're in the fall instead of the spring, and the weather is gorgeous. But the biggest change, of course, is the fan situation. There are none. As I look over my shoulder here and there are no fans to be had. I can count the number of people in the grandstand as opposed to the 100,000 plus we usually get Derby weekend. And right over my right shoulder, that is harrowed ground. That is the winner's circle we use only for the Oaks, the Kentucky Oaks, and the Kentucky Derby. No other horse gets to step out there but the Derby and the Oaks winner. And the thing that'll be missing this year is all those people on the balcony in the grandstand in the clubhouse cheering on that winner when the roses or the lilies are put on them. Back to you guys.
Tom, thank you. It is bittersweet. We're thrilled to have racing. We're thrilled to have the Kentucky Derby and the Kentucky Oaks, but to all of the fans out there, we miss you dearly. Of course, Tom Amos, he knows how to win a Kentucky Oaks.
Yeah, the reigning Kentucky Oaks winner until later this afternoon, and Serengeti Empress. By speed is always tough, and she got it done that day.
the longest ever reigning Kentucky Oaks winner. We're happy to have Tom with us, and we'll hear more from him coming up a little bit later on. And the excitement is building. These 2-year-old races, Richie, on the undercard of big days like the Oaks Derby, whatever it may be, you have to always think there are a few future stars potentially in these fields.
Yeah, it seems like everybody wants to put their best foot forward on these big days, and they unveil their good 2-year-olds in these days. I see a lot of pedigrees that are really interesting in the baby races today at Churchill Downs.
Yeah, absolutely, and we'll talk about several of them for sure. Your current favorite, the number 2, Malibu Bird, second-time starter for Norm Cassie, owned and bred by Mary Lou Whitney Stables.
Yeah, nice to still see those Mary Lou Whitney colors. Just such a historic and meaningful person to racing.
I can imagine very special to Norm and his team and everybody that does and has trained for Mary Lou's colors. As we see the field coming out, talking about pedigrees, the number 6, Salty As Can Be for Mark Cassie, Gary Barber, and Bakari Racing Stable. Mark Cassie and Gary Barber had this little filly's sister, Salty, who won the Grade 1 La Troyenne.
Yeah, Salty, really good race mare, and beautiful pedigree into mischief. Like, he's throwing runner after runner.
They seem to run on anything, too, which is pretty exciting. Talking about some more pedigrees in here. You've got a first-time starter for Bill Mott we'll get to in a moment, but here's one of those pedigrees, the one Distorted Verve, after several nice winners.
Yeah, a prolific family there out of the mare. Verve usually won a little more distance, but maybe the Distorted Humor will give her a little more speed.
And maybe have a race under her belt, as there's that second-time starter, Malibu Bird.
Yeah, on her toes, showed good speed first time. Probably be better for the experience.
Manny Franco there in Kentucky, getting ready for Tis the Law tomorrow. Here's the 3, Sayonara.
And maybe she will say sayonara to the competition. Steve Asmussen has been white hot with first-time starters.
The number 4, Lady Traveler, have to heart.
Yeah, a lot of turf in that pedigree. It'd be interesting to see how she does on debut.
Here's the 5, Rockstar Parking, firster for Brett Calhoun.
First-timer out of a mare, unraced mare, her first full.
Those upstarts seem like they can run, too, as there's that number 6, Salty As Can Be.
Salty As Can Be at the pedigree, has a good steady work tab. Mark Cassie knows how to win.
Number 7, Quick Money, another one with some experience, showed some speed on debut.
Showed good speed first time. Usually that intensifies. The second time should be part of the pace.
Jason Barkley, former assistant to Wesley Ward. Here's the 8, Ship It. Ken McPeak has Swiss Skydiver waiting in the wings.
Yeah, first timer. I kind of try to look at the board and give you a little bit of a clue. She's really not taking too much money.
And off and running already. Here's that Bill Mott firster, Amusing Antics.
Yeah, Johnny Velasquez giving her a good warm-up here. It looks like she's really into the bridle. Love the way she gets over the ground.
Number 10, Aunt Joey, first time for Tracy Glover.
Yeah, debuted on turf. Interesting to see how she'll do on dirt.
Here's the number 11, Far-Sighted for Rusty Arnold.
Rusty Arnold, trainer that usually develops a horse. They race into condition. Place to get started. Although Julian Leperoux lands here, and he did ride the 2-horse Malibu Bird first time out, who ran well.
Interesting riding, first-time starter there for G. Watts Humphrey, who we saw have that nice exacta with the entry and that off-the-turf race yesterday. But it's time now for the Twin Spires Market Mover, the horse attracting the most support late in betting, and that horse is the number 3, Sayonara. Steve Asmussen, deadly with those first-time starters, particularly the 2-year-olds. We've seen quite a few of them here at Saratoga. To bet the Market Mover or any horse you like in the next race, Twin Spires is offering you a $200 new player bonus. Download the Twin Spires app or visit twinspires.com. Sign up with the code GET200 to start your $200 new player bonus right now. For more on the number 3, Sayonara, is ridden by Ricardo Santana Jr., let's head out to Kentucky once again. Let's check in with Tom.
Thank you, Acacia. Let's put this race in perspective. We're talking about maidens, horses that have never won a race before. And in this race, 8 of the 11 starters have actually never even run before. So when you're looking at the tote board and looking at odds on horses, and you see the odds dropping on a horse that's never run before, we refer to that as smart money. Money that's usually coming from the barn and maybe the clockers as well and the practice runs that particular horse has. And that certainly belongs to the 3-horse Sayonara for Steve Asmussen, who does very, very well with his 2-year-olds. But another angle to use here, and a very important one, is a horse that's only had one start and making their second start. We say it all the time. That first start is always a learning experience, and we see the most improvement in thoroughbreds when they make that second start and the trainer has a chance to work with them and get them right and teach them the things that they didn't do well in their practice run or their very first start. And that belongs to the 2, Malibu Bird. Norm Cassie did it last night in the last race here at Churchill Downs with a horse that only had 1 start, came back in his second start and won it 6-1. Malibu Bird, the 2 horses, following that same formula. Look for the experience of a race to be a great teacher and help in this race here, and that belongs to the 2-horse Malibu Bird.
Tom, thank you. 3-1 currently on Malibu Bird. There she is on the track with Harley, well-recognizable pony there at Churchill Downs. Let's bring in Maggie Wolfendale again for some thoughts on these 2-year-olds. Maggie?
Yeah, and we'll see Harley with Kentucky Derby favorite Tiz the Law tomorrow.